The British Jewish community can and should trust our Prime Minister, because I know from speaking to him, speaking to the Home Secretary, that this is a government that is absolutely determined to drive this vile ideology of anti-Semitism from our country and from our society. What happened in Golders Green on Wednesday of this week was utterly appalling and abhorrent. And I think the Prime Minister was right to say that an attack on the British Jewish community is an attack on Britain, full stop. It's an attack on our British values, our British decency, our British security. And I think Sarah Sackman, the MP for Golders Green, was right to say as well that targeting the Jewish community in this way is absolutely unconscionable. That's why we have taken steps to increase the resources that the police have and the Community Safety Trust have, to increase the amount of police patrols and make sure that security can be put in place for people. But this is treating the symptoms of the problem. It's not treating the root cause. And so
what is the root cause?
So I think that we, have to tackle anti-Semitism. And we've started to do that, for example, in some of our public services where we knew that there was a problem in the NHS, and Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, has been quite clear about the need to make sure that everyone, when they're in hospital as a patient, when in a vulnerable situation.
What's the root cause, though? Because we've got successive politicians not willing to grasp the nettle here. What's the root cause of anti-Semitism in the UK?
I think it's a lack of education.
In which communities?
And so, look, that's what I think it's... unfortunately, I think it's found in lots of different walks of life. And that's why a couple of hours, actually, before the attacks happened on Wednesday, one of the things the government had done under the leadership of Sir David Bell was launch a call for evidence about what more we can do in our schools, our colleges, on university campuses. And I also think, a lot of people absorb information, anti-Semitic content online, and that content is illegal if it is anti-Semitic. And, we're starting to take action through that, through the Online Safety Act. But whether it's online, in our schools, in our public services, frankly, in the day-to-day conversations that everyone has, I think the Chief Rabbi was right when he said this week that we need more people in the country to voice how abhorrent this is. And it's also why, look, if you look back at what the Home Secretary has done, she took action to ban the Al-Quds March earlier this year, first time around any issue, Camilla, to be honest. One of the reasons
you haven't mentioned Islamic extremism yet in this interview.
Look, one of the reasons why the threat level in this country was raised on Thursday of this week was because of the growth of terrorist-related activity linked to Islamist ideology, and also, to be honest, linked to far-right ideology as well. And so, no one's trying to sugarcoat this problem. We will tackle it wherever we find it. I heard the Home Secretary earlier this week talking, as a very senior Muslim figure in this country, talking about how also it was incumbent upon people from, the Muslim community to condemn anti-Semitism. And look, the experience I have had, actually, when I've done interfaith work, whether that's in Swindon, where I'm the MP currently, whether it was in Lewisham, the place that you referred to earlier, is that there are a lot of good people that want to make a difference. There are some people who seem to have poison running in their veins. And we have to build understanding of one another's cultures, one another's history, and we need to share the British values of tolerance, respect, for one another.